Ash, what was that Ricky Hatton story you were going to mention? You said you got a story in the chat.
Oh, the old Windsor Club.
Hmm. Yeah.
Um, so never in my life has there been like an illegal lock-in. And they did one for that. For the Mayweather fight. So like,
Oh, okay.
I remember like there was like 30 of us, and yeah, I think we all like waited till like about 2 o'clock in the morning, maybe even 3 o'clock in the morning, and then like we went down to the old Windsor Club. Yeah, whatever time it started, like 4:30.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, this makes sense then because I ordered the fight at home and I had like a few people around, including Chesney, and I'm trying to work out how was I in that position where, well, one, I probably ordered it on box office and didn't tell Dad, and two,
Where was I? Yeah.
where were you? Yeah, so that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's actually how me and Chesney are friends. Because he's in the year below at Windsor Boys.
Mm.
We're at the bus stop outside Windsor Boys, and I'm talking to some other people about watching the fight round ours on Saturday, and then Ches is waiting for the bus as well to go back to Old Windsor.
Oh, can I come?
Yeah, he overhears the convo and goes, "Oh, can I come round as well?" And then
That's classic Jez, to be fair.
Chancer. I think that's the fight that got me kind of into box because I remember you like kind of watching like vaguely like Lewis Tyson, all that type of stuff, but I was too young. But the Hatton Mayweather one is the one I really remember like wanting to watch. And do you remember it was during the 07-08 season and Mayweather
Mm.
wore the United kit to
Yeah.
piss off Hatton, and it was the kit that we won the Champions League in against Chelsea because it was that season. Yeah, those were the days. Let's kick it off. I'm Steve, and I'm joined by Ash, us, Ron, and Scott. And we're only a few weeks into the season, but it's the second emergency pod. We've had to pull out the big guns again, and that's because Manchester United lost 3-0 to Manchester City in the derby at the Etihad on Sunday. 2 goals from Haaland, 1 from Foden, and another embarrassing defeat against Manchester City over the years we've had recently. So, Ron, I'm going to come to you first because I think you moved heaven and earth to get onto this pod. So I want to come to you first on the performance. I'm sure we'll talk about someone's job later, and I'm not talking about Scott's. Tell me about the performance on the pitch. What did you make of our performance against Manchester City?
What did I make of it? More of the same, really. For me, it's like we're just going round in circles at the moment. I actually thought, funnily enough, we started off okay. If we break down the game, the first 10 minutes, 15 minutes, pretty good. We had probably 3 or 4 opportunities on the break to hit them. Didn't quite get the pass right in the end. But then, the story starts and it's really more of the same. 3 shocking goals to give away. The first, Bruno, but actually started off with Luke Shaw, who really was very soft in the challenge. He was very square on instead of being sort of shaping his body to try and get a tackle in. And then the ball comes in and Bruno loses Foden completely. So we saw that in the Fulham game a couple of weeks back when, the equaliser they scored. Again, I think it was Bruno, not really tracking his man, and they scored from that. And it was similar again on Sunday. And then I thought we sort of City were in the game. They were very good. They sort of controlled possession, controlled the game for about 15, 20 minutes or so in that first half. But we started to sort of get to grips better with the game, I thought, as the first half progressed. Went in 1-0 down at half time. Second half came out, again started very well. First 5 or 6 minutes in the second half. And then the second goal again, that was a very sloppy goal to give away. How Luke Shaw and was it Maguire? No, it was De Ligt, couldn't really handle Haaland. That just shouldn't be happening at sort of this level of football. And then again, the third goal, a counter-attack, space in behind, and Haaland with a great finish. So it was really disappointing from that perspective. But ultimately results speak for themselves. And if we look at the record now that Ruben has, 8 wins out of 31 games, win ratio of 25%, we're back to the squaring board.
Yeah, interesting. I mean, you acknowledged that we had like a decent opening 10 minutes. I was watching it with Scott, and I think, we thought the same. We were kind of getting into the final third. So I'm really intrigued to hear from us, because the Let's Kick It Off community are quite concerned because they've not heard from him in a while. So thankfully he's alive, number one. Number two, what did you make of the game, us, from your perspective? How did you see it? Did you think that we played well at all? Or, what did you make of it?
What do you mean they worried about me? I've been around. I was on the last pod. Did they not listen to the podcast?
Wait, 7 days is a long time in football.
Trust the
Such
process.
concern. I was just doing my maths, and I was like, Ron just said we've won 8 out of 31. I'm sure that's more than 25%. It's 26%, Ron. 25.8. Get it right.
We'll give you 26.
Good stats, though.
Is that Gary Roundin?
Yeah, exactly.
Ron.
Oh, what was the question?
Do you
again?
want to know what the loss percentage out of that?
No. What was the question again, Steve?
No, I genuinely want to know whether you think how you think we played.
Yeah, no, we didn't play well, right? You lose 3-0.
It was 3-2 on XG though.
Yeah, it was. I mean, I kind of Ron's analysis, I think, was basically spot on. We started the game well, and then stupid goal, silly goal. We had
But
enough.
we've got a good defence. That's what you keep telling us.
No, I keep saying that we probably need the extra man at the back because we need the extra bodies, and the bodies were there, but Bruno doesn't track the. It was a bit lucky because it kind of fumbles around off Agate, I think. But if Bruno tracks Foden, there's enough players in the box to stop that goal. And then the second one, I thought that was just class City play. I keep saying Haaland's the best striker in the world, and he just bullied Shaw, and great finish. He should have scored another one. I remember when I was thinking, oh man, why didn't I captain him in FPL? It was like an open goal, missed opportunity situation, right? And he should have had a hat trick. And the one where I think it was a third goal, wasn't it? Where he's onside in his own half. You're like, this is comical, but what finish? If Sesko's in the same position, he's not. It was a class from Haaland. So we didn't play well. We didn't deserve to get anything from the game. I thought City were better than they've been, so far this season. They really stepped it up. And we individually, there was a lot of players. Ugarte made a lot of individual errors. I thought Shaw was poor. I didn't get Ruben's team selection. It was a bit weird. I mean, I don't know if you want to talk about that. I thought when Cunha and Mount were out, who are big losses, I think they've started the season really well. I really thought he'd put Bruno into that left-hand 10 role. He played Ahmad there, which is just... I was like... When I saw, I don't know you guys, when I saw the team selection, like, where's Ahmad playing? I don't get it. I didn't understand.
Where have you been for the last 9-10 months? You know what he's going to do?
I've never seen Ahmad play left wing. Oh, no, it's not the conservative thing. I would have been just as conservative. I mean, we were discussing it last week. I was like, I can imagine he'll bring in an extra. But I thought he'd play the extra midfielder and put Bruno up one, basically. So I don't think that was being more or less conservative. I was just surprised that Kobe didn't start. It was a bit weird.
He explained it before the game.
He made a comment, didn't he, about Ahmad?
Yeah.
Ahmad played during the week in the international game as one of the number 10s on the left-hand side. And pre-match, Ruben had sort of alluded to that when they asked him the question, Ahmad in the 10, and that's what he'd said.
But he explained Kobe
so Ahmad
as well.
had
He
one
said
game.
he didn't...
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, but he explained about Kobe before the game with Sky. He said, he didn't want, another, dribbler, extra body in central midfield. He wanted a dribbler. So that's why.
Yeah, fair enough. But I was just surprised. I've never seen Ahmad play left side. So I was thinking we're doing our team of the years. I was reminiscing about that, where Steve put Mbumo on left beside us, and we were joking about it. But Steve, clearly you know about things about Ruben and how he could play players out of positions. That was a bit odd, but yeah. Generally speaking, the annoying thing was, as definitely City deserved to win. I felt we had lots of these situations where the final execution was just lacking. There was just these moments where at 4-on-4, 3-on-3, where the pass was bad. Dorgu had a lot of situations like that, where like Dorgu's there's three men charging the box, and he hits the first man, and just like, oh come on, please pass it to your teammate. So
Not just that, it just cut him back as well. Like when you should be taking the guy on, I thought he was really poor.
yeah, I don't think like his general, like, he defended quite well, and he had a lot of energy, and he was really important in the press. But on the ball in the final third, I just felt, oh, if only we had someone better, or he was better in those moments. And at 2-2, at 2-0 as well, there was and Mbomo had a really great shot, great save from Donnarumma. If that goes in, you're wondering, oh, so that it was closer than the 3-0, but I think City 3 points, well deserved. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I was interested to ask you because there's a lot of fans, Man United fans out there, that are kind of backing the fact that we're playing better than the results are suggesting. So I thought I would ask that question. Ash, I want to hear from you. Anything you want to add to kind of the summary we've heard so far? And did you see anything differently?
No, I thought the boys are spot on. I'd say probably the only insight from my side was, I think it was about 20 odd minutes in, maybe before even the goal, to what Ron was saying about execution of that final pass, or that final cross in good areas. We just kept on messing it up, and I just thought we're a really, really poor team. As in, I don't, obviously, my thoughts on the coaching element of it, but I'm really interested to know, like, if like we had a competent manager, like, just how good this team would be. I think the ceiling's quite high still, but like I did think like this is just a really bang average team, just generally. So not even comparing against United greats. Just if I was just a neutral watching that game, I just think that's a really uncoordinated and lacking confidence team. You can see it even in the defence. And I think as weeks go by, it feels like the confidence is just going to strip away. The attack looks blunt, even though XG might suggest otherwise. I think the other thing on XG, a lot of those chances were created once it was like 2-3-0, so it's kind of like doesn't really matter. It's like the 6-3 a couple of years ago, right? So yeah, I mean, yeah, not much really further to add, to be honest with you.
So, Scott, you can vouch for the fact that I did, just before kickoff, say I've got a bad feeling, and I did say 3-0 City, right? So, first of all, you can vouch for me on that. And secondly, yeah, what did you make of the performance? I know what you made of the performance because I was sitting next to you and you're complaining for 90 minutes, but tell the listeners what you made of it.
No, I think what the guys have summed up pretty well, to be honest. Yeah, didn't play well. Formation, starting lineup was questionable. No matter what the stats tell you. I know I think you shared the stats, was it we had more possession and more passes? Don't mean anything, does it? Until you can't get it in the back of the net. And unfortunately, they've got a striker that can get back in the net, and we haven't. So, they've got a goalkeeper as well. So yeah, I've got nothing else to add against that performance. Typical. It's the same thing. It's just the teams find us out all the time. First 10, 15 minutes, you look okay. Did exactly the same thing against Fulham, did exactly the same thing against Arsenal, and they find us out, which is right through the core of the team, unfortunately.
What about you, Steve?
Yeah, not surprised. Like, I thought we would lose before kickoff. I could understand the case for people saying, "Oh, I can see us winning or getting a result," based on the fact that Ruben has looked solid against better teams in the past, and City were on the back of a couple of defeats. I could understand that, but I'll be honest, I don't trust these guys. Luke Shaw making these mistakes is not a surprise. you can't trust this guy. You cannot trust this guy. We get excited. He plays a good game once every season in a big game. We get excited. Oh, he can play the season. He hasn't played more than 5 games in God knows how long. His mate Mason Mount, who was probably at McDonald's with him the night before, that guy can't be trusted either. These guys have let us down year after year after year. So I don't trust any of these lot. So let's get on to the elephant in the room now, because Ruben Amorim, your record, my friend, is fucking atrocious. It's the worst Premier League record we've ever seen in our whole lives as Manchester United fans. That is fact. That is not opinion, right? So that is a fact. Even the Ruben in people cannot dispute that, right? These are facts. You know, Ron mentioned the stats earlier as well. So the question is Ruben Amorim the right man to take us forward? So before we come on to your views, I did put a poll out in the Manchester United community today just to get a feel. You know, there's only 20 of us in there, but, you know, it's a decent representation. So
20,000 in a few months' time.
yeah, exactly. But I guess, you know, I could have put the poll as the options as Ruben in or Ruben out. We know there's a bit more nuance to life. So I try to do it as a bit of a scale, whether people are 100% Ruben in, 100% Ruben out. And I think Scott, Ash and Ron, you're fully Ruben out on the Rubenometer. And then in terms of the rest of the guys, and there is no girls in there, the rest of the guys in there, it's basically split. So you've got six people that are saying essentially don't sack him because, and the reason I put next to it is they can't take another manager. So you've got kind of half of the guys on that side saying they can't go through that cycle again, and about half saying he has to go. So Ron, again, I'm going to come to you on this one. There's no way back for Ruben, right? In your opinion?
There was no way back for Ruben after the Europa League final, and yet he's still here. To your point around record, I think you're being kind to him to say in our lifetime, he's the worst Premier League manager he's the worst United manager that we've had since the Second World War. If you look at the stats, his win ratio is 36, and ours, just for you in terms of the exact percentage, 36.17% is his win ratio. That's the worst since the Second World War.
Can we
You can
exclude
talk
the
about
Europa now?
Wilf McGuinness, Franco Farrell, Dave Sexton. They all had better win rates than Mr. Ruben Amorim. The future is bleak. The question you've got to ask yourself is, can this guy turn it around? Because if you believe he can, then fine, we stick with him. But if you really ask yourself the question, is this guy capable of turning it around? And there's no point hoping that we think he can, because the last year or so shows to us that he hasn't shown anything. You know, we've had a great result against Man City away this time last year. But apart from that, I'm trying to think of a result that he's pulled out. And I can't think of one apart from Man City. Yes, we've had the glimpses in the Europa League games, you know, the semi-finals, the moments, you know, Harry Maguire, Kobe Menu, last-minute goals. But in terms of an actual win, apart from the Man City game, I can't think of one result. And the biggest flaw, of course, is we keep coming back to is the system. You know, you've got to get the best out of your players. And unfortunately, this system is really hindering the players from performing at their absolute best. We spoke about it on the last pod, and we'll talk about it again. Our best player over the last 4 to 5 seasons has been Bruno Fernandes. Playing him deeper in the central midfield role, he cost us against Fulham, and it wasn't only just him, to be fair, but you know, he was partly to blame for the goal. And again, the first goal against Man City yesterday, it's just not his game. He's not going to be able to be disciplined enough going back the other way. Get him doing what he does best, and that is creating in the number 10 position. We talk about wing backs. Ash, you made a really good point earlier about Dorgu and the quality. You know, we've got Dorgu, we've got on the other side, if Ahmad plays wing back, or we've got Dallo, we've got Mazraoui playing higher than Bruno Fernandes, who's playing deeper. That in any system just doesn't make any sense to me. So if we're going to continue with this guy, he's not going to change. He said it since day one. He confirmed it yesterday, again, when asked by the media. He's not going to change his system. So unfortunately, this is only going to end one way. And we've seen, you know, around about pre-Christmas, we've seen, going back to Ollie, Mourinho, Ten Hag. And unfortunately, the writing's on the wall pre-Christmas. If this continues, he'd be another one to add to the Christmas present list.
Us being genuine here, not dreamland or what you would like to happen. Can you see Ruben turning this around?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's possible. It doesn't.
That's not the question. No. Can you see it happening? As in, do you believe it will happen?
I don't think it'll happen. No, but it's possible. Yeah, I don't think there's any reason to think he'll turn it around, right? Because it's been so bad that, 25.8, 30, whatever on all the stats, all those managers I've never heard of that you're naming as well that he's worse than. So I don't think there's any reason to say that he should turn it around. The real question is, you mentioned, Steve, this player's a disgrace, this other one's a disgrace, you can't trust them, right? And then, this one's lacking confidence or what? How much do you associate that with the manager? And if a new manager comes in, do those players stop being a disgrace and we start winning games? Or are they still a disgrace?
It's twofold. I think the manager will add or bring a certain element to a team and, can make players perform. And then it is also going to depend on the quality of the squad. So I don't think, they are two separate points essentially. So I believe a manager quite clearly could do better than Ruben is doing because it's not hard basically. But I still don't trust those players because I've always said this. My goal is to get back to number one. I'm not interested in finishing 7th or 8th. So
right.
I think you need both.
So this is now the next question, right? Do you, if he's trying to do a rebuild, why? So you mentioned the survey 6 and I don't know what the numbers were, but the City game should not have changed your opinion about Ruben staying or going, right? You need to give this a bit more time. I think it's going to fail, but to sack him now would be just weird. If you were to sack him now, it's because you wanted him gone in the summer, like Ron and Ash wanted him gone, which makes sense. You haven't changed your mind, but the people who wanted to keep him, such as yourself and me, we should be. A question for you: you did a fan survey as well on who do you think would win the league. Did anyone say Man City?
Yes, a couple of people.
So
which
there
I
are
was
certain
surprised
people
at.
out there who, and that's not crazy. This is City under Guardiola have won 7 Premier League titles since we've won one, and we're going to their home. So to lose against them is like we've lost against them under Ten Hag, under Oli, under Mourinho, under everyone, right? So that's not a big deal. This result shouldn't change your mind. What's more interesting is the games coming up to the international break: Chelsea, Brentford, Sunderland, and then post that as well. I wouldn't sack him now. I think, though, the trend is suggesting he will not be able to succeed and he will eventually go. And then we're going to have a decision on who you're going to bring. And then the next question is, you made the point, Steve, I want someone I'm not interested in just stabilizing. So your next guy, is it the guy who's stabilizing, or do you have someone in mind to win the league? And that's the bigger problem, is that I keep saying the same thing over and over again.
The last two that you picked, though, have been fired, finishing 8th and potentially 15th, 17th again. So you need to think about like where we are as a club, because you say all the time, patience.
No,
so
but
therefore,
I'm not talking about me. I'm talking about. Don't talk about me. Talk about Steve. You need to tell Steve this, that he needs to...
No,
hold on.
His plan is like a 5-year long-term plan, right? So he's patient enough that we're not going to win the league for the next 2-3 years. So I don't know if he needs a stabilizer guy first and then the cherry on top. But the point is, like, you keep saying, like, we need these, like, high-ceiling managers, but we're not at that level. These players that you love, they're not that level. They're not.
No, but
like they can't stay. They can't stay fit, and
no, but this is the point.
They've shown over a multitude of years that they can't do it.
Of all the managers we've had that are willing to make a significant change, Ruben's come in and gone, these players aren't good enough. I'm bomb squadding half of you. I'm bringing in new guys, and that's going to take, like, the guys he's brought in look decent to me, Cunha and Burmo, right? They look decent, and so he's got the same opinion. That takes a bit of time. So that's the thing. He's ruthless. He is ruthless with these players. He has high standards and he's won a couple of league titles.
Yeah,
And
in
that's-
Portugal, let's get that right. Like, I'm sick and tired of like hearing this, because it's like it's Portugal and it's actually 2-3 years ago now, right? It's like it's in the past. Like, football moves on very quickly. Like,
And also, can I ask us, because you've made this point in the past, right? You've said, if something's not working,
Yeah.
why stick with it?
100%.
So you just said a minute ago this isn't going to work, essentially. So
No,
why are you sticking with it? Well, come on to me. We don't need to talk about me. We'll talk about you first. I've already declared my position a few weeks ago, and that's not changed. What about you? You're saying it's not going to work. So why are you sticking
I'm
with
saying
it?
it's unlikely to work, but I think that if you've decided, like I had in the summer, that we should let it go, you need to give him more. This is not the right time now. After what is it, 4 league games? Is it how many league games have we played?
4.
You can't
It's 4.
You can't go. Oh, you know what? Had one opinion, and 4 games later, I've got a different opinion. That would mean I'm a psychopath. So
No, it would mean that you look at what happens and you change your mind. There's no crime
no, but
in
nothing's
changing your
happened
mind.
in these 4 games. It's that like.
We've picked up 1 win against Burnley.
It doesn't matter. In the 4 games, nothing's drastic. Okay, the one thing that would change my mind.
We lost to Grimsby.
No, that is shocking. That I can't defend. But the one thing that would change my mind is, and I don't know this answer, we'd need to ask the dressing room, have you lost faith in the manager? If they've lost faith in the manager, get rid of him tomorrow.
What's
Get
your
rid of-
take? What's
get
your
rid of him
take from the
now.
outside? No, what's your take from the outside looking
It
in?
doesn't feel like it. It feels.
I've got some intel on this. So
Yeah.
when I dropped you off, Scott, and I was driving back home, the trusted source that is TalkSport, I think Alan Pardew said they're hearing on the grapevine that the players are now unhappy. He specifically mentioned Bruno is not happy, and if you think about it, this actually makes sense, right? Because when you trace it back to that Fulham game, and he had that weird ass reaction with the ref bumping him. You only have that type of reaction if you are holding something in, right? We've all been there when you just erupt, and that's because you're pissed off or something's going on. So I can see that, and Bruno is the one playing in the 2, right, where we can all see he's being overrun. So those noises are now coming out.
Did anyone see the Bruno interview after the game?
Yes, I was going to mention that.
That
Yeah,
was
that was
really
interesting.
telling, because even though he was obviously talking about how Yoro had to, push up, I think that was almost like a dig at like the strategy and the way they're playing as a team. I don't know, Scott. Did you see the interview? What did you think?
Yeah. The whole, I think what Huz is saying about Pardew, I actually listened to that this morning, and it's a bit damning. And I think Ruben mentioned it, Grimsby, where the players just basically they didn't even bother turning up. And I think when he starts getting those kind of segments in the dressing room that just don't believe in the manager, then I think, as is right, it's just you've got to get rid of him quickly. Because you can't wait until the next international. You can't wait until Christmas. Too late. We won't finish in the top half. And, even if that's an option at the moment. So yeah, no, I just, the scenario I use is like, it's like your wife coming to you and saying, I'm going to divorce you if you don't change. And then a couple of months later, you've got your head in your hands and you're wondering why you're divorced. He's that stubborn. He needs to look at it and kind of go, I understand the philosophy. A philosophy doesn't get implemented from day one and you stick with it. You have to adapt. And at the moment, he has an inability to adapt to this league. And at the moment, he can't find a win. He can't buy a win. So I just look at it and kind of go, if he's that stubborn in this type of league, which is absolutely punishing, then is somebody not knocking on his door to say, look, you've got to change something? And I said this last time. Somebody has to say something to him to say, look, you've got to get results. It might mean that you've got to throw your philosophy out the window for the time being to get results. Because otherwise, confidence is going to get lower. Players are going to start revolting, and then he's going to be out the door. And he's going to look back on it and kind of going, I wish I changed something. He's a young manager, but I think he's very naive with this. He's got to look at it from a plan B perspective. At the moment, he doesn't have one. And he keeps talking about it doesn't matter about the formation. It clearly does. You can clearly see it. This doesn't work anywhere else. It's not been proven anywhere else. So how does he think this is going to work? And when you've got players in positions, we do not have a natural wing back. So why play wing backs? There's not one natural wing back in that team that can actually create 10, 15, 20 plus assists each year and score 5 or 10 goals. You know, there's nothing being created. And, you know, Ron's right in terms of you've got your number 10, your best number 10 for the past few years, playing in centre midfield. And that centre midfield position, he can't play it. And the goal that Foden scored, yeah, okay, you can argue that we should have cut the cross out, the tackle should have been a bit more stronger. There's a little bit of luck with the deflection, and then but it was his man. He let his man go. He's a centre midfielder. There's no discipline there with the guy. So
I thought it was
Roy,
quite
right on the
telling
wall to me.
Roy Keane
Guardiola's
would
comments as
disagree
well.
with me because I think Bruno, you know, I don't blame him for these goals, like the Fulham goal and like the City goal, because you know what he's like. He's played at this club for like 6-7 years. The big decision, and Steve, we discussed it on the pod a few weeks ago, was when the Saudi move was there to be done, right? Because as a club, they should have realised we either have to play around Bruno, base this whole team around Bruno, or sell him. Because that's what Ollie did. That's how Ollie got the best out of him, right? Like, we put bodies around him so that he could focus on creating, didn't have to worry about running or tracking, right? Because we had McFred. And that's what you got to do as a manager, or even as a football club. Like have a football idea, and that's what we've questioned, right? With Omar Barada, does he really know what he's doing? Because he brought in a manager who plays wing backs and a system that this club it's just never agreed with, right? But like, I am going to defend Bruno on this. Like, I hear it every week. Like, he's not tracking back. Fine, but we've all played with footballers who don't track back, so you play to their strengths. You can't keep blaming the guy. As much as it is like his fault in terms of those moments, but yeah, it's one of those rare occasions. I'm going to defend him in terms of like the player side of it. I'm way more worried about the manager than I am about the players.
Just coming back to the point about adapting, I thought Guardiola's comments post-match were telling. Even he's adapting. This is the best manager, since Fergie, and he is adapting. So Ruben isn't going to adapt. Unfortunately, that's why the writing's on the wall. This system doesn't work, hasn't worked. I know Conte won it with Chelsea, but he had, Matic and Kante was it in midfield. He had dynamic midfield players that could run.
He had a world-class
We
centre
don't have
forward
that.
run and a world-class goalkeeper.
Centre forward.
Yeah,
absolutely. He hasn't got the right
It's never
profile of
been
players
seen
to play
before,
this
though,
way.
has it? That's the thing. That you've not seen it ever again. It's once in a millennium.
There's
if
a
you wanna
reason why
call it.
managers don't play this, right? There's a reason
Yeah.
behind it. Look at the data. It tells you everything you need to know. So why is it we think this is going to work? And for me, the longer this goes on, the harder it is. The biggest indictment to me was yesterday when Gary Neville said he doesn't even hurt anymore. And, Steve, before we came on, to me, it's like you compare it to breaking up with a girlfriend and it actually doesn't hurt anymore. We don't care anymore. Why? Because actually that relation didn't matter anymore. And is that what our fans are feeling at the moment? That's what that's what it's coming to. This has gone on for so long now that the longer this continues, the more it just becomes part of our life. It's just the norm that Manchester United are losing football matches. There's another stat for you. 17 teams in the Premier League. I'm going to discount the 3 that got relegated, the 3 that got promoted this season. Out of those 17, United are bottom since Amorim joined. How low does it need to go? As you're talking about, you don't believe it's going to change, but 4 games in, you can't fire him. But you can't move away from the stats, the data. It's all heading in one direction.
Yeah, it's one thing I made a point on the last pod. For me, like, you have to wipe last season and start again because it's a fresh start. So I will give him that.
Is it though? I mean, this is a continuation of last season. Why would it be a fresh start?
Because this is the thing, like, this is the question of, do you think this is a really good group of players that is being mismanaged, or are there issues that he's trying to resolve? Like, did he do the right thing with this, with Garnacho, Anthony, etc., etc., and he making all these he's made quite large changes to the squad, and he keeps looking to make large changes to the squad. A few new signings have come in that, do you give him a bit of time? I think if you were keeping him, you have to give him a bit of time, because we've played 4 games, of which 2 are the 1 and 2, two of the top 3 teams in the league, right? One of them we played quite well in. The other one we deserve to lose, but like I said, if your expectation is for us to finish 6th or 7th, we should lose to City at the Etihad. I mean, that's just normal. The question now comes...
Well, at the moment, we're finishing 17th.
Yeah, so the question now comes, like, what happens in the next few games? If he's lost a dressing room, you should definitely get rid of the guy. There's no point, because
Isn't the key question, and as you've always mentioned this, yes, you can say you're going to sack a manager, but who are you bringing in?
Yeah, and
right?
who are you going to bring in? And this is the thing: does that person rescue the season? Because if he's lost a dressing room, that person does. Because anyone, this is what I said with Ten Hag, is that anyone can come in and it would be better, because it was toxic. When Mourinho was at the end of his thing, I was like, get rid of him. Anyone will come in and it will be better, because there will be a lift from the existing playing squad, right?
Well, I can reveal to you, because I think, Ron, you told me and Ash in private, but Ron, you've got a suggestion to put forward in terms of manager and assistant, right? And I think us might buy into it. So please, Ron, come forward.
Come on, Gareth Southgate. No, not Gareth Southgate.
definitely
Kieran
not
McKenna.
Deck.
You're not going to give me
Definitely not Gareth.
Southgate,
Sorry to
McKenna, and
disappoint you.
Carrick? No. Okay.
You've got one of them. You've got one of them in there, definitely. Just
Kieran
before
McKenna.
I go to my suggestion, no, it's not McKenna either. Just before that suggestion, I think you've got to look at it and say, you look at our squad, and Scott, you and I have spoken about this many times. You look at our squad, and actually a 4-3-3, you can bring in anyone, and straight away, you would like to think performances would improve, results would improve, and we would have us at least in the top 10. Just by playing that 4-3-3, you'd have a back 4, you'd have Mazraoui right back, you'd have Dorgu left back probably, you'd have De Ligt and Yoro, and then you'd have your 3. Here we go, Kobe Mainu gets a start. You'd have Casemiro, Mainu and Bruno in the 10, Cunha and Mbeumo, and then you've got Sesko up front. In terms of what I would do now, if we were to get rid of Ruben, I would go the interim with Michael Carrick and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer at the helm. Back again.
Wow.
Interim appointment. And this time I would be saying thank you to Ollie at the end of the season. And I'd be moving, as I said on the last
No
pod.
contract there, yeah?
No contract. Contract off the table,
Wow.
Rio. And I'd be going for Eddie Howe and tapping him up behind the scenes as best as I could so that he's ready for the summer.
And just to clarify, Ron, who's got the number 1 spot there out of Ollie
It'd
and
be Ollie.
Carrick?
It'd be Ollie. It'd be Ollie.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah, Scott, I think I'm sure you've mentioned Ollie. Would you buy into that?
Yeah, I'll have him back in a heartbeat.
Put it on the table. Yeah. Let him sign it. Let him write whatever numbers he wants to put on there, give him what he's done now since he's come in, and let him sign the contract.
Is that what you're saying?
TNT lawsuit coming.
There'll be no contract then, Scott.
It's a freelance contract, Ron. It's a freelance contract.
Oh, I love that.
It'll be with a
No,
term date
completely.
of the last game of the season. Thanks very much.
Massive applause, yeah, exactly.
Ash, could you buy into that?
Yeah, I could buy into it. I wouldn't do it, but I could buy into it.
So what are you doing then? Are you still sticking? You said Silva, right?
I'm just gonna get a manager in, like a Premier League manager. I'll rip him off from Bournemouth, Fulham, Newcastle if I could. Just ask him now. Come to the biggest club
You
in the
go
world.
for a per manager right
Yeah.
now.
Absolutely. There'll be a shitload of managers wanting to take that job, because this is the thing, like, as it's touched upon it, right? There's a decent squad there to do something, right? And we're not talking, Champions League qualification by the league, but you can play entertaining football with this squad, be competent, don't embarrass yourselves continuously, and get through the season, whatever that looks like, 6th, 7th, maybe 8th. and then just refresh in the summer, right? Whether that's with more sign-ins or, this is the funny thing, right? Time on the training ground, like he's going to have umpteenth time. So like, if you were to think about like Ruben, like this is actually a period which is going to suit him because we've only got like one game, boys, like for the next like few weeks. It's long waits. It's like 6-7 days we've got to wait for every game. So he's going to get his time on the training pitch, but yeah,
Wasn't that his excuse last time?
no,
Though, 'cause he
no.
just came
This is
in.
my point, Scott. Like I was
Yeah.
saying, when these boys were telling me he's going to get the time on the pitch, I was saying it doesn't matter. This is done, right? This was done for me. I was saying from like March onwards. You could see it, right? Like nothing is new. I mean, you can talk about the stats. Like if I hear the Arsenal game one more time, I think I might shoot myself in the head. Like it's gone, boys. That was like a month ago, right? It's done. The City analogy is interesting because City were good. There's no doubt about it. They were highly motivated because it was the Manchester derby. I think there was the element of the Ricky Hatton side of it, Phil Foden touched upon it. They were super motivated, but they were there to be got at. So Ron mentioned it with execution of like final passes, etc. And that's what I mean. It's like it's a poorly coached team, but I do wonder about the confidence of this team as well. But I'm not going to give the players an out because that was the excuse with Ten Hag. It was like Ten Hag's created a bad dressing room. Therefore, any manager brought in would make it better. That's clearly not the case because we got someone way more charismatic, way more better for the cameras, and it has gone to utter shit. Like, for anyone to think this is acceptable in any form, it's like wake up and smell what is in front of you. Like, to Scott's point, it's like you could wait, but what is the point? Like, we know where this is going to go, and the likes of Gary Neville, etc. Like, even their language, right? Yesterday, they know that this is done. It's a bit different to Ollie, where they defended him to the hill before once it was confirmed. They said, well, he should have gone. This is different. You can tell, like, I think Gary said yesterday, it's coming to October very soon, right? 2 weeks away from October. You don't win many games, you are in deep trouble. He will never say, like, he's gone, but we know where this is going. Like, this is why Saturday is crucial because it's at Old Trafford as well against Chelsea.
And the thing is, the excuses are gone because the excuses
Done.
used to be the players.
Yeah.
And you can't blame them anymore because they're not down in tools. Apart from Grimsby, you could argue, but the rest of the games I haven't seen the players like down in tools and not trying and stuff like that. Yeah, I agree with Keane in terms of where it's a derby.
Get a yellow card.
Like he said, smash
Put a
into
tackle in.
somebody, kind of thing. Yeah, kind of thing. And I agree with that. But it's almost like the players are trying to do their very best, but it's the coaching. It's the coaching, it's the tactics, the formations. That's what is failing them with this team. And I think you're right. It's a good team. He has got a good team, bunch of players. But I think any manager, I mean literally, you could bring any manager in the world right now and he will get better results. Not top four, not winning the title, but he will get better results. And maybe that's what we need. Do we need that platform and that stepping stone? Because I don't think in a million years we're going to go from this position to winning the title in the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years. I think you have to build it, but build it with the right person. And to Ron's point is, I think Eddie's the number one. I think that has to be, the go get. He ain't going to come, now. He's not going to come in January. But I think getting someone like Ollie or Carrick or, an ex-United player to come in and just basically say, play with fun again, like Ollie did. Brilliant times. And the only thing, and this is what I mean, if we had the ownership now, now with Ollie, he'd probably still be a manager because he didn't have the backing in the end. It was player power that took over, where player power is not there at the moment because the board are backing Amorim. So when they say they're going to lose changing room and all that kind of stuff, I don't think the changing room is lost and it won't be lost because the changing room is probably looking at it and kind of going, well, the owners are still backing this manager. And at the moment, it's either I play or they're going to get rid of me as a part of a bomb squad. So I don't, and that's what I mean. I think the excuses are gone. You can't blame the players, and this is where I look at it and kind of go, the only one person to blame is the manager on this.
And there's no Europe, right? He's always wanted this 1 week where I can train the players. He's got that now. There is no excuses.
He's had 9 months.
I look at it and think, you name me one other club, big club. We want to be competing against Real Madrid, Barcelona, Bayern Munich, even in our league, the Liverpools, the Cities, the Arsenals. You name me one club in world football that would behave in this way, as we're behaving at the moment. They would get rid of their manager in a heartbeat. Yet we are allowing this to play on week in, week out. An absolute mockery. We're a laughing stock in the world of football today.
You never confirmed on whether you would back the Ollie and Carrick interim gig?
Well, how am I supposed to reject that? I mean, come on. You know I love the man.
He's sold. Ruben out now.
Yeah, you know what's weird is I was more convinced that Ollie wasn't going to work at the end than I am now about Ruben. So that's the weird thing. I was convinced once we signed Ronaldo and I saw the first few games, this is done. He has no hope. This team is going to capitulate. I remember telling this to you, right? We're done. This is a house of cards that's going to collapse. I don't think Ruben will succeed. I still see enough, like I said, that the whole European thing doesn't kick in until now, the time and the training ground, right? Everyone's had the same fixtures. It kicks in now, it kicks in as we go on. And that's why I would technically still give him till the next international break for sure. For the next 4 games, I wouldn't. Yeah, I'd love Ollie and Carrick back, but I would still stick with him for now. I don't think it's irretrievable. I don't think it's a formation issue as well. All the goals conceded yesterday, nothing to do with 3-4-3. They were personnel problems, really.
No, that's absolute nonsense.
I think the second goal, you could see it with De Ligt and Shaw.
Yeah, but if you had a back four, would concede even more. There'd be even more space, right?
Not true, because the midfield, it would be plugged more.
No, that's
you need to relook at the goals.
This is the thing I have an issue with, is that we played 4-3-3 under Ten Hag and we're more open than we are now. In terms of shots conceded,
you don't need to talk about Ten Hag, he's gone. If you're talking about if you talk about a competent manager,
it's this idea about there's a magical system out there that you bring in.
It's not a magical system, it's called numbers, right? I've told you many times,
you can see.
No, you keep.
We had the numerical advantage in the box. No, we had the numerical advantage in the box in the first goal. It had nothing to do with 3-4-3. It had to do with the fact that Foden gets space in the middle.
Because Doku gets into the midfield pocket, where if there was free in the middle, that space would have someone there.
No, because that was
they're stretched.
Ugarte.
Are you not watching these games? They're stretched. There's 2 midfielders.
Ugarte makes the wrong move. Shaw then doesn't press onto Doku. That's like a personnel thing. They don't do their job properly.
No, it's a combo. It's the formation, the system, and the player decision making. Right? Player decision making is influenced by the system that you play. None of them are comfortable. You've heard what Pardew said. There are other rumours. Bruno's mentioned it in an interview. This is a problem, right? It's right in your face what people are indirectly telling you.
Even if it's a problem in the player's head,
yeah, by 1%,
even if the problem is actually in their head, it's still a problem, right?
Yeah,
whether so.
No, I agree with that. That there is that 1% could be there that still needs to be coached, and I agree. I don't think it will succeed. And if the dressing room's gone, he should go tomorrow. However, I would still, if it hasn't gone, I'd give him these 4 games just to see. Are you asking me, will I take? Of course, I'd take Ollie back, because it'd be great to see him back at the club. Mourinho's available as well. Scott would probably vote for him over Ollie. Surely, Scott? Bit Josie?
No, I'll take Ollie.
I'm just astounded.
So
this is one of the great days of my life. That we're all discussing United, and we're bringing Ollie back. I mean,
Dave, what would you do? Christmas comes early.
Steve, if
Steve, you're gonna
Ruben's going tomorrow,
come on, Steve,
who are you bringing him?
You bringing me Ollie?
I'll tell. Let me just quickly, because I put it in.
Steve, let's bring the whole gang back. Let's get McKenna in as well. Come on, come on, lads. We won. We
Steve,
won the
interested to actually hear from
triumvirate.
you. What if Ruben goes? What are you doing? Who are you bringing in?
So the reason I've been keeping quiet and not declaring it, and I didn't vote in the poll,
I
is
noticed
that, guys, it's all nonsense. It doesn't matter who we're bringing in. This is doomed. We are never making it back even into the top 4 under Ineos. I'm telling you now, best case scenario, we're getting back into the Europa League. So I'm done with them. I hate them. I really, really hate them. And it goes back to what you were saying, Ron, about Gary Neville, right? We as football fans, we want to enjoy the games. We want to celebrate goals. We want to have that passion, right? And Ineos have sucked out my joy and love. Obviously, I still want us to win. You know, I'm there with Scott wanting the team to win. You can never take that out of me. But they've kind of sucked the soul out of the club for me. So I don't really care about the manager, I'll be honest. So, you know, that's why
Steve,
I'm sticking with Ruben.
Yeah, question for you. There was a part of me, honestly speaking, and this is, I don't know, I can't believe I'm admitting this. There's a part of me that was actually, I don't want to say happy, but not unhappy that we were losing games under the Glazers under Ten Hag, because I felt it was going to push the ownership thing.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any part of you that's kind of like, oh, you know what, good on, stick it to Ineos when we lose? Yeah. I know 100%, how you feel.
But that's exactly it. So I'm like, obviously I want us to win. That's a default position. But the worse this gets, the more likely, I'm not saying, I said this to you, Scott, didn't I, yesterday? I'm not saying it's going to be a very high chance of getting the Glazers and Ineos out. But if this continues, you know, if we get into a position where Europe is looking unlikely next season, that affects the finances. I think they've banked on the fact of at least getting into the Europa League next season in terms of the cost in the budgeting, right? So you get to a point in December where if it continues to look as it is on the pitch, that's where I think then the fan pressure is important, because I'm not saying the fan pressure can force the owners out. We know that can't happen, but it might move the needle from 10% to 30%. You know, that's kind of my take on it. Like I think
so you're playing the long game then. You're having to ride this out and
basically
3 years.
You're
5
Ruben
years.
in to get the Ineos out.
Yeah, that's
looking
basically
at the
my position.
long-term project.
Like, you know, I agree with you guys. Like, we could
do you
get a
think
manager
Ruben is a Qatari stooge? Is he playing? Is Sheikh Jassim's double agent?
he's an AI character.
We've nailed it. We've nailed it. That's what it is.
Ruben Amorim was actually kidnapped. The real Ruben Amorim is somewhere in Qatar, and it's fake. They find a fake one.
He's not even Portuguese. He's Qatari.
Yeah, and you know what? They'll put the thing on, right? And it'll actually be Sheikh Jassim. Sheikh Jassim's actually the manager of the club the whole time.
Yeah, he's
lowering the valuation.
Ruben's a mole.
You won't get that on any other podcast, by the way.
Starting some rumours, but yeah, no, that is genuinely my take on it, and it's sad, and like I don't really want to admit it openly, but. You know, even when the cameras panned to Jim yesterday, I was like, yeah, fuck you. You deserve this. Like, the way you treated us as fans, the way you treated some of the staff, he deserves it. The arrogance, you know, like, yeah, I when I saw his face, I was like, yeah, you deserve this. That's how I feel.
That's up to you, Steve.
Sound like Kevin Keegan, these guys, by the way.
These guys don't
I love it. The way Jim came and he said that.
Yeah.
I'd love it if City win this. I'd love it.
I'd love it if we get relegated. I'd love it.
I said to you, Steve, didn't I? It's that these guys don't sell. They've got a past record that they don't sell. So I admire what you say, but I don't think it's going to happen. I think they're here for the long run. I think they're here for the very long game, which is, you know, they want the next Champions League rights. They want the next TV rights. They want the next 100,000 stadium.
Yeah.
They want the extra, you know, 2 to 4
yeah, but
billion
Scott,
on top of the price.
you want Sydney Sweeney.
Yeah, I do.
Exactly. But you soon run out of cash in the bank.
He's playing the long game as well.
What are you doing, Scott? Scott, when there is no cash in the bank next June because we didn't get into Europe, what are you doing then? I don't give a shit if you want a new $2 billion stadium or $2 billion stadium.
Ineos will raise some money.
Yeah, but this is it.
Yeah.
They'll go and sell some Class B shares again.
Yeah,
This is what I mean. If the
only if we
club
let
Or
needs
they'll
them.
money,
take a
they'll
loan
pump
from
it
the
in.
Ineos group and put it into
Yeah,
the
but only
club.
if we let them.
They'll
Only
do
if we
some
let them.
shitty thing.
Only if we
We've
let
got
them.
we've got no say in it, Steve. We've got absolutely
We've got
zero
little
say.
say. We've got little say. But that's a defeatist mindset, though, Scott.
No, the
'Cause
only thing we can do
No, I'm just saying-
what change in history would happen with that mindset? If you just accept, if you accept, oh, these
I'm
people are
not-
more
I'm-
powerful. It's a defeatist mindset. Oh, you're
It's a
right.
defeatist-
It's more likely.
It's a defeatist mindset in the fact that there's probably reality. So
Yeah.
I'm a realist in the sense that this isn't going to go anywhere soon.
Yeah, but
They're
Steve,
here for the
also,
long
it's a
run,
football
and
club.
the last 20 years have proved that.
Steve, it's a football club. People want to win today. Like Scott
Yeah, I get
said,
that.
everyone here wants the Glazers and Ineos gone now, right? If we could do it today, we'd do it. But in the meantime, you've got 9 months of the season. Ron mentioned it a few weeks ago. You're going to work, just being beaten up by all your colleagues and like being destroyed in WhatsApp groups. We want to win fucking football matches, right? And we want to be entertained as well, because, you know, pumping it to Harry Maguire every week is not fun, right? We want to watch some like decent football again. And like, you can bring in any manager and there's half a chance that will happen.
Yeah, the biggest thing here is that if this continues for another, if this continues for another 5 months, 10 months, 2 years, 3 years, you name it, you got to look at the market, right? Look at our competitors; they're all getting stronger. So, Steve, to your point, and I admire what you're saying here, but in reality, 3 years, 4 years from now, even if Ineos do depart, and if we carry on with this trajectory, I mean, who knows? We'll be in the championship. Yeah, you've got your rivals just going from strength to strength. How do you come back from that?
If we're in the
championship,
the Glazers are gone. That's what Steve's point is.
That's what I mean. Not even that. I think if we miss
look
Europe,
how far behind you are, though. Look how far behind you are.
But Steve's point is, under the Glazers, we will never, ever, ever, ever win. So what's the point, right? You might as well go dig deep, and then at least you have a chance of coming back. At least there's some hope.
Yeah. I'm not saying it's guaranteed. I'm just saying it's more likely.
But there's a hope that there's a resurrection.
That's such a long game that you're looking at, decades beyond decades.
It's been 20 years already.
But I think the only thing you can do as fans is not turn up to games. Like, if there's like 10,000 people at Old Trafford, that's the only statement you can do. Because, like, you were one for criticising the fans, a while back about this. But we're still the only fan group that have ever cancelled a Premier League game ever. Like, ever. So the fans tried to do their part, and look, they bottled it massively with the protest against Arsenal, right? Because a couple transfer deals got done, and 1958, bottled it. But that's the only thing we can do. We not turn up to games. I don't see anything else that we can do, and like not buy merchandise. What else do you want the fans to do?
Yeah, but look at Ineos, right? They've revealed these big plans for a new stadium. They've just announced that they're not investing
getting the funding, mate. Look, the government is an absolute shambles. Like, there's no funding.
They're not investing in the UK as a company, Ineos. Yeah. So how can they sit there and expect government funding to fund Old Trafford? This is what I mean. It's all these plans.
But I think the fan base is split on the new stadium anyway, right? Like, let's be honest, especially at the moment, we don't want a penny going into the stadium because we want our football team to play well. Like, you got to get things right. Like, I'm sure Az is going to counter this, but like, because you can get like a new mortgage. But like, can you really afford to spend money on a new stadium with the state of the team? Like, whether it's the manager, the infrastructure, all this stuff, right? Like the facilities, like there's so much that's got to be done before even focusing.
The thing is, they've not tapped us out, and we're such a big asset to them that they've not tapped it out yet, and that's the issue. You haven't got banks coming to us and saying you need to repay like the Liverpool scenario. We don't have that situation. The banks love it. And I said this in the chat a few weeks back. Any bank in the world will come crawling and begging the Glazers to say remortgage with us.
But Scott,
they'll take it, and they'll take all the interest in the world.
2022 November, the Glazers were backed into a corner less than 3 years ago. They'd run out of money. They'd done this strategic investment. They only had two viable options that came forward. One of them was Ineos, and one of them was Sheikh Jassim,
There's
whether he's
free
real or not.
actually because private equity was available.
Yeah, Elliot. That's what I'm saying. So, like, you know, they only had limited options then.
Or
so
they could have
if we
taken out more loans.
Yeah, of course
Yeah.
they could have, but yeah,
And
there's
they
always a
would've.
way out.
They
But
would've, yeah.
importantly, Sir Jim Ratcliffe, if you go back to his overlap interview in March, was it around the Arsenal game, he was already not liking the stick at that point, and he basically said, "I won't put up with this stick for much longer." The stick is only going to get worse over the next few months. So that's the other important thing. Why is he going to want, you know, he's already put in, 300 million us? Why is he going to want to put in more cash when all he's getting is stick? His asset is reducing in value. It doesn't make any financial sense.
Yeah, but the counter to that is
Yeah,
that if this
legacy.
continues and, you know, we end up, I wouldn't say we're going to get relegated, but, you know, we're flirting with relegation, where we were as sort of an asset to buy 2 years ago, a year ago, is it the same, you know, compared to the likes of Tottenham that are out there potentially, or who knows, you know, if Arsenal or Liverpool, you know, they come up to be sold in the future, these clubs are a lot more attractive than we are because we're spending years and years just in the doom and gloom.
But Ron, that's a
We've got the
good
name.
point, right? So the rumours are that Tottenham have been valued at around 4.5 billion, right? With those rumours that circulated round. Even now, as shit as we are, with no Europe, Scott will agree with this, we're going to be worth more than Spurs. Fact.
It's the name, isn't it? The
Yeah.
name is there, the brand is there. But I take your point, Ron. Like, you know, especially if you start, you know, if you spend 2 or 3 years out of Europe, you do start to become, oh, are we a mid-table team as a club? But the other interesting, I don't know where I saw this, but I actually read that Sheikh Jassim, and this might just be posturing, he's not as interested as he was a few years ago. One is because they won the Champions League with PSG, so they kind of got the glory through there. And secondly, apparently Qatar are planning a bid for the Olympics in the 2030s, I believe. So they're shifting focus towards that. So yeah, I take that point that is there a buyer out there? I just do think
Saudi is your best hope, my friend. Saudi is your best hope.
Possibly. I just think there will be a buyer out there. It's still Manchester United, and yeah, you know, there's got to be more people willing to buy the
Fair
club.
enough. If you're in it for the long run and you're willing, you know, for this to continue for 5 years, 7 years, I just think the likes of Scott, Ash, and me, I think our heart rate has had it. I don't think we can take any more of this.
Fair play. No, I get it. And there's no perfect answer. I think, you know, as a fan base, the solution is not clear, right? It's tricky.
It's not even heart rate. It's the size of this club. Like Liverpool have never been this bad, ever. So even in the 30 years when they weren't winning it, they've never finished this low in the league. They've never been this poor. Like, it is embarrassing the amount of times like we lose at Old Trafford. Like, basically the only teams, especially under Ruben, that we can beat is promoted teams. Every other team gives us a game. So even when people bring up like the next 5 fixtures, it doesn't matter because the next fixture is the most important one because we are that bad. We are that bad. It doesn't matter like that we're playing Sunderland in like 2 weeks' time. It's all about Chelsea and not basically being embarrassed at Old Trafford.
Yeah.
I said we can't get relegated, but let me ask you all a question. If Ruben is in charge all season, who's saying we're going to get relegated here?
I don't think we get relegated.
Yeah. We'll
about.
finish
We won't get
17th,
relegated.
but we'll never get
It's still
relegated.
fun.
Yeah.
We'll even.
I'm definitely bottom half. Won't be get relegated.
12th, 13th.
Steve made a point about, you know, even being out of Europe for next season, I don't think it does anything. It doesn't put any more pressure on, apart from the fact that they're going to be reducing funds. They'll probably end up firing more people. You just operate differently. You operate as a club that's no longer a European football club. That's the only way they're going to handle it. Being out of Europe, they're still going to generate 550 million plus or whatever each year. It's just the extra 200 million that they could get in the Champions Leagues.
That's Steve's point, and fair play in that the valuation goes down. Your revenue goes down, your valuation goes down, more buyers. The Glazer extreme valuation of whatever it is, 6, 7, 8, 10. They might be like, you know what? This is silly. we're losing money here. We're hemorrhaging money. I keep saying this is that people go, oh, it's, United's a cash cow. It was 10 years ago for them. They don't make any dividends anymore because there aren't any dividends to get paid. They are hemorrhaging money because at the end of the day, they could literally put that money in a bank account or buy, risk-free and earn 5%. They could go and invest in some US tech stocks and earn a lot more.
And I do think Jim is actually in it for the glory. Like,
Jim's in it for the glory because he makes his money from chemicals, right? So for him, he can lose that money because for him, his chemicals business is he threw 200 million at Ben Ainsley in a boat. I mean, who cares about boats?
When he realizes he's not going to get the glory and he's going to have to put in more money.
No, so
you've seen it with
Jim's game, in my opinion, is he wants the full buyout. He wants to take over fully and the whole do the stadium thing, and he wants it to be like his legacy. That's what he's all about, and he wants to leave a legacy, and he's thinking 10 years. So for him, he also will be like, I want the Glazers out as well. He wants the Glazers out as much as you do, Steve.
Yeah, but I think in reality,
you want him out as
he
well.
needs to change the manager first before
No,
having a chance.
I think the deal. I think they've done this minority deal to almost see how it goes for a few years. And yes, ideal scenario, things are going well for Ineos, and I do think he thought that was an option. But the second option is he cashes out as well, and the Glazers leave. They cash out together.
Guys, I wouldn't be surprised if the Glazers are ready to kick Ineos out, because they have fucked things up so much. And I'm the first one, Steve, to admit Ineos have got this massively wrong, right? As in me backing them got it massively wrong. But I would not be surprised if the Glazers are planning to get rid of him.
Yeah, it's got to be unrest behind the scenes, right?
It has to be because they've made the asset way worse. Sporting side, we are absolutely atrocious, right? 8th was bad. I mean, last season was bad, and the trajectory this season doesn't look good. But then,
Tell you what, if that happens, Ash, then Steve's point around a sale and actually going down the route of a Qatari or somebody from Saudi Arabia could happen, because I tell you what, Glazers are most likely to sell than Ineos.
Saudi is what the Glazers are aiming for. The Glazers have got good history with Saudi. They've done plenty of deals in the past. I think they're also linked with franchise cricket as well. Saudi's the place. That's where all the money is. They've bought golf. They've practically bought tennis. They got boxing. If they really want to showcase, the Saudi World Cup, buy Man United. Fuck Newcastle, sell them, and they're going to make money on Newcastle
and
anyway.
Get Eddie Howe as well.
Get Eddie Howe, and that's the dream ticket, right? Saudi have Man United, they have the fan base. Everyone's going to come to that World Cup. Doesn't matter about your religion or your cultural beliefs, and we'll get back on top. Forget Qatar. Qatar never had the money. As much as you want to argue about it, Qatar never had the money because they couldn't even prove it.
Point, we'll get the real Ruben come through as well.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, I think each game is gonna,
it's death by 1,000 cuts.
We're looking forward to Garnacho coming back to Old Trafford. That's going to be funny, isn't it?
Did you see how he celebrated his dodgy assist as well? Like he weaved past 5 players to put it on Caicedo's foot.
Yeah, I'm glad they didn't win it.
I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to the meltdown as well when we win, and everyone's going to be moving in all of a sudden.
It's going to be a meltdown either way, right? Whether it's a win or a defeat. But I mean, I tell you what, if we lose that game, you could see Ineos making a decision, right? Monday morning.
I don't think so. I think Ineos are just going to carry on till.
No, I think if we lost, say 2-0 or 3-0, Jim will make the call. He will make the call.
No, I think that I always look for the international breaks.
Yeah,
I was
international break.
Next international break is the one. That's why I said these 4 games. This to me, look at these 4 games.
Do you reckon though? But isn't that too late because you want to give yourself a chance to actually get back into Europe, right? So if you wait another 4 games and you don't get good results, you're costing yourself possibly.
I almost think the Sunderland game is bigger. You lose that, he's fucked.
Yeah. Sunderland, do you think that you parachute in Ollie and Carrick and suddenly turn it around? Probably, not, right? So you give him the 4 games. Whoever's going to come in needs a bit of time to settle and etc. So yeah, the next 4
Can't
games.
believe we're
are big.
talking about the Sunderland game here.
Well, that's
It's
what I
like,
mean, doesn't it?
United
Says
are
it
playing
all,
at
doesn't
home to
it?
Sunderland, and we're counting on the Sunderland game. I mean, if I had
Yeah.
said that
It's
to you
not
boys,
counting on it's if you lose that game, right? You expect to win
in
this
fact,
game.
that's even as part of the conversation
Yeah.
should tell you everything about.
No,
where
but
we
that's
are
the
at.
part where the back breaks. Like
No, I hate.
if you
Yeah,
if you lose that one,
that's
for
the last
me,
game, right before the
yeah. For me, what
international
happened
break.
against Burnley, it doesn't matter. Like, it's great on the day because we won a game, but it doesn't change like what I'm thinking. And
But
that
Ash,
would be the
Ash,
same with Sunderland.
Ash, you know Jim's character pretty well. Like you followed the Ineos story right in sports over the last few years. Can you like? Let's just say we lost 2-0 to Chelsea. Could you not see him make a decision next week?
No, because he's too stubborn.
Really?
Yeah,
But doesn't he have high standards then? Like, you know, if this, I think someone made the point. If this was one of Ineos's subsidiary companies, would he accept this?
But this is the point. It's not, right? And I always have this argument with Azar about The Office, right? It's not. That's the difference, right? So if Ruben was working at Ineos Group, like the chemical side, he would have already gone. But because this is sport, and like, you know, there is that element of patience at Ineos, and also this is their first guy, right? Like, they will tell you like what they did to scout and get Ruben, right? And now Omar Barada is like trying to push away the fact that it wasn't his decision; it was made by analysts as well. Absolute bollocks, as you would attest to.
Ineos
So I
have
don't
been-
think he would.
They've been quite ruthless for sure in Nice. They were very ruthless with Dan Ashworth.
that's
Very
what I mean.
ruthless.
Yeah,
They've got
because
track
they
record.
disagree. That's because Dan Ashworth disagreed with the philosophy of what Ineos were looking to do. Like, you know,
Yeah, but
Steve calls my
I
manager
think,
list the boring list. That's what Dan had as well.
I think the issue is they are like a bit like me. They see last season as a write-off, that Ruben was, like trying to clean up a mess, and they're looking at it a fresh start. It's too early in this tenor. There's the new training ground. There's the whole thing of time on the training ground, lack of European football that hasn't kicked in yet. The new signings getting to know each other. I think they feel it's too early. And this is my point.
I think it's more they don't want to make another mistake. They don't want to be seen to
Yeah,
making another
and then
mistake.
the other point is, again,
Ashworth, Ten Hag,
and
now
who do you
Ruben.
bring in? Jim Ratcliffe is not bringing Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and Michael Carrick.
Yeah,
Let's be honest.
I
Yeah,
agree.
but what the thing is, what mess has he had to sort out though? What is this mess?
This is the issue: is that there's a lot of people who think time under Ten Hag was good, and I'm not one of those people. So for me, it was an shit show, and a lot of the squad that was there, that this whole revamp needed to happen, and I'm happy that there was this revamp. The people who think that things were good under Ten Hag, 4-3-3 was great, and then you wouldn't think there was a problem. So that's.
I still don't understand what this mess is though. What mess has he actually fixed? Sancho wasn't even, wasn't a sign-in. Hasn't played for the last 2+ years. So that's not a problem. He's fixed. The club's fixed that.
No, it's in
Rashford,
at the
he
point,
created the Rashford problem.
No,
he's created the Sancho problem. He's created a Mainu problem. So what problem does he actually fix?
This is the question, right? And this is the disagreement, I would say. I genuinely believe, and this is maybe me being delusional, if the next manager comes in, we'll pick up a better situation than the situation.
You said that after Ollie, and that was just simply not true.
But okay, you can say that's not true this time as well. So say I'm wrong now, but I think the next manager who comes in picks up a better situation than the one Ruben picked up. That actually, I look at the squad now and go, I quite like some of these players, and that's what I mean. Can you give him a bit of time to work this out? Even if he gets fired, I think the next guy comes in and is like, okay, Ruben's done the clear out of this. He's done a bit of cultural change. The new training ground's in place, and we go with I like Mbeumo. I think Sesko looked decent. I think Cunha's a really good player. So I kind of look at that and go, this isn't actually that bad anymore.
What players? So again,
But
the
to Scott's
problem, I ask the
point,
question again.
Yeah.
What problems has he fixed?
Marcus
when actually-
Rashford,
look at-
Anthony,
no, forget-
Jadon Sancho,
Right, no.
all the players that have left.
Sancho,
The
Ten
that
Hag
the
didn't
club
fix
or was that
club
him?
would have done this anyway.
Is that the club? That's the
Yeah,
club.
the club
right?
would have done
But
this
what I'm
What's he
saying,
done?
whether he
What's
did it or
Ruben done
not,
to
the
fix it?
situation now is better. right? Whether it was
It's not,
Ineos,
though.
whether
You've
it was
got to
Jason
look at the same
Wilcox,
players.
whether it was Omar Brada, whether it was Jim Ratcliffe, whether it was Ruben Amorim, the situation now is better than it was 12 months ago. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, the hierarchy at the club, you're saying, is better than
No,
what it was 12 months ago.
the play is stronger.
No, it isn't, because Ten Hag signed 5 players in the summer. Those 5 players are still here.
They're Ineos players, though, right?
Okay, so they're Ineos players then. They signed them.
Yeah. So, like, what I'm saying is, Jim Ratcliffe's looking at this and going, right, the situation's better. Give Ruben the chance now to kind of work with the squad.
So Ineos signed 5 players under Ten Hag. Ten Hag had 8-10 games and got fired.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And done better than Ruben.
Yeah, exactly.
No, that's what
So
I mean. That's the
this guy-
disagreement. I don't think Ten Hag was doing well because I'm a guy who watches football matches and goes, that was shit. I don't care that we squeezed a result out.
How can you say this is better? This is worse.
No,
Look at our league
that's what I
position.
mean.
Look at our
For
points
me,
per
it's
game.
exactly
Trust
the
the
same.
process.
It's exactly the
Process,
same.
right. It comes back to the
This
process.
this is the point. For me, it's exactly the same shit as it was before. The
No,
difference.
it's worse because the players are even more confused. Because Ten Hag, what he
I
tried
don't
to
think
do
they
was,
are.
he was too
I
attacking.
don't think they're more
He was
confused.
too attacking.
No, no,
I
hold
think
on.
they were
They
even
were,
more
because
confused before.
they were
had
more
no clue.
comfortable
The
in a
team was
4-3-3.
open. No, they
3-5-2.
weren't.
They
This
don't
is-
have a clue. The wingers are playing as wing backs. The
This is
centre
the-
backs don't know who to pick
No,
up
but
because
Ash,
they don't know how
Ash,
to
Ash,
push
No,
the
Ten-
ball.
sorry,
ten-
this is where
ten-
you're
ten-
completely wrong. You're
I agree.
You're
completely
utterly
wrong.
wrong as well
No, no,
because
ten-
look
no,
at the
ten-
league
ten-
position.
That's the
Ten
It's
problem.
the
Hag's-
worst start in 33
Watch
years, my
football
friend.
matches.
Wake
Stop
up.
being a
You
numbskull.
don't watch enough football. You don't watch
Ding,
any
ding, ding, ding,
football.
ding, ding.
You don't watch football. I
No,
told
no,
you
no,
a
no.
few weeks ago about the central midfield. You were telling
the
me,
bell?
"Oh, don't worry about it. Like it's
Sydney's
fine.
gonna
Like
come
I will
across in
score
a
more
minute.
goals." But we're getting
No, no, no.
destroyed in midfield
No, no, no,
every
no.
week,
Listen,
and you don't
listen.
know.
We're
You
not. We're
can't watch
conceding
it.
less
You
shots.
can't see
We
it.
are
Ten
conceding
Hag's
less
second
shots.
season. Ten Hag's second season.
Was a
We
shit
were
show.
an open.
Obviously,
Shit.
we were atrocious. Everyone
We were-
knows that.
we were-
It was worse
We were
than it was
utterly
now.
atrocious.
It was worse than it is
Yeah.
in these first 4
And
games.
that's
we
the
were
point. That's
utterly
the point.
atrocious.
And it worse than
we
now.
were utterly atrocious.
And worse than now.
It doesn't matter.
Yes, it does, because that's the
14th.
question.
It's 14th.
My
You're the
point-
one who backed Ruben in the summer. You're the one who backed him in
Exactly.
March.
Yeah.
So keep on with him and
That's what I said.
enjoy your football. Enjoy the football.
I can't wait. I'm looking forward to it. It's gonna
Exactly.
be great.
Enjoy it.
Chelsea's going to be
Enjoy it.
wonderful.
And I look forward to you saying that he deserved to be fired.
Are you looking forward to the Chelsea
Can't
game?
wait.
Oz?
It's
Can
going to
you-
be wonderful. Garnacho coming
Uh,
back. You know, we're gonna. I think Old Trafford will be on fire. We're gonna
I
have.
think it
we're
will
gonna
be.
have the Ruben Amorim song from the Stretford end. I'm gonna have a nice 3-1
Oh,
win.
Steve, what a shame
Finally-
you can't be there.
Finally, some of those chances. We've had so many shots where it's just like one of them, please go in.
Oh, there we go. XG's back
Here we
in
go.
town.
Trust the process because that's worked. Jesus
Well,
Christ. Get
you
a
know what's
t-shirt
funny,
and
right?
print it.
You know what's funny? I was listening to the Gary Neville podcast, and I think the commentator asked him, "Oh, what does Ruben need to do?" And Gary goes, "Oh, the game's at Old Trafford under the lights on Saturday. They need a fast start and they need a goal." And I'm like, "Oh, thanks, Gary. That's a great suggestion." But to that point, is that what we need? Just like a little bit of luck and something to catch fire, like
You need to
you know,
score
Old
the
Trafford's-
first goal. This is it. Score
We'll
the first goal.
concede. We'll concede afterwards because that's what you tell me. I don't watch football. You don't watch football clearly either because even if we did score, we'll concede because we're just not that good.
We're worse under Ten Hag.
But you're
It's not
trying.
about Ten Hag, it's about
You're
now.
creating this
It's about
thing
where
in your
we are
head
today.
like that. We're saying Ten Hag was like better. It's not that.
I'm not. I'm
it
trying
was
to.
shit. It was shit then, but it's shit now.
I made one simple point, and I said you guys would disagree. My simple point was I think the next guy, when he takes over, will take over a better situation than Ruben took over with Ten Hag. And that's why I think Ineos will give him a little bit more time because they believe that it was coming from Scott's thing of what has he cleaned up. I saw a massive, massive mess structurally in the team, in the coaching, in the morale of the squad. And that's my point as well of if he's lost the dressing room, he has to go immediately. The moment a manager's lost the dressing room, whenever that happens, if he hasn't, let's assume the players are still behind him, but just haven't yet got that execution in those little moments, they will give him the next few games because, and I think whoever takes over after Ruben, I think you even guys said it before. Actually, if we set up in this way, and we'll actually start winning some games. So
yeah, but it's
So
not
that
because
comes
of
back
The thing
to
is, you
the
can't
system.
get. The
Ruben.
thing is,
That's about the
your point.
system.
You can't get any worse.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's about the
This
system.
guy's
then,
going
isn't it?
to come in and just basically just start winning games because you can't get any worse
Yeah.
at the moment. He's
And
not
also,
taking
we're
over a better
playing.
position.
We're playing a system that works for these players. At the moment, these players are confused. They're playing a system that they just can't get their head around. Like
He
positionally, we're all
he
over the
hasn't
place.
fixed anything.
The new
He's not
On
manager,
fixed anything.
transition,
the new
we are so
manager's not
open and
picking this
exposed.
squad up thinking, oh, thanks to Ruben, I got, Mbumu, Cunha. That would have happened regardless of Ruben.
that's the
Any one
question.
of us could have
That is
been.
the interesting question that my assumption is, and this is the thing with hiring, whoever you hire next is something to consider, and why Ineos maybe do like Ruben versus a Dan Ashworth is. I think it's really important the manager works with the hierarchy in recruitment. That's fundamentally what wins you games. And I think they believe that he has a good eye for a player and has improved the playing squad, has assessed which people need to be removed and assessed which people should be signed. And therefore, whoever's taking over takes over a much cleaner situation. I don't think the next manager doesn't need to do much. Well, Ruben, in my opinion, had a huge mess to sort out that he's basically 2/3 of the way there. But I think that the next moves are Casemiro out, Maguire is being slowly gone, and Bruno the Saudi move, and then next summer you go again. Whoever that guy
But
is,
that's natural, though.
yeah, but
That's natural. These are 32-plus-year-old
my point,
players
yeah,
now.
but my point
That's
is
a
under Ten
natural
Hag it
progression.
would have got even worse because he would have hired more people from the Dutch league, shit players. Leverkusen did the right thing and got rid of him after 3 games, right? The guy
You
was
hired
a shit
him.
show.
You
why
hired
is the
him over
conversation
Poch,
about-
so don't forget that.
Guys,
What
why is the
Ten Hag
conversation about
signings
Ten
has he
Hag?
got rid of
Why are we
them?
talking about Ten
Yeah.
Hag? We're talking
That's
about
what I
where
mean.
we are
It's like
today
this
with Ruben.
narrative about
Right. Why
Ten
are
Hag
we
is
going back
nonsense.
to
Okay,
It's
Ten Hag?
like,
okay,
We
let's
want to look.
don't
we want to
worry
look
about
forward.
Ten Hag. It's gone. That was 2-3
Right.
years ago. We're talking about Ruben.
Why are we not? Why are we not looking
why are we
forward?
talking about Ten Hag is because
You are.
no,
You're
why?
talking about
Okay,
Ten
why
Hag.
am I talking about Ten Hag? I apologise. Why am I talking about Ten Hag? Is because to assess the job that Ruben's done, I'm saying look at what he picked up and look at where we are now. And in my opinion, that he has done some cleanup that Scott disagrees with, and that's fine. And now it's 10:30. It's been a pleasure, guys. We've had a long discussion. Ron, you have a 7 a.m. tomorrow morning. We'll all disagree on this, and let's look forward to the Chelsea game. You guys aren't going to watch it because you're fed up with watching football. I'm going to sit back. I'm actually in Manchester, but I've got a wedding to go to, and hopefully I can sneak out, catch the game, and
see the 3 goals that you promised us. You think we're going to score 3 on Saturday?
At some point, one
Let's see if you
of
get
these
that
chances will go in. Yeah.
Their
So,
own goals.
well, have you noticed Scott? Have you noticed Scott, Ash, and Ron are wearing blue? So I think they're supporting Chelsea, so that Ruben gets the boot next week. So maybe you're in my camp.
No,
but yeah,
we're representing the 1968.
Yeah.
I think
We're doing it
we'll
for
wrap it
Bobby.
there. I think there might be another emergency pod next week, but I can see Ineos acting before the international break. Time will tell. Maybe we win on Saturday. That's how random this team are. So you'll have to tune in for the next episode. So thanks for tuning in to this one, and we'll catch you on the next one.